Welcome everybody to Mud Flood was Armageddon. The Mud Flood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they are willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. Sergio is first in the chat room tonight, first in your heart. A man trying to raise a family. That's where I was. I was at an art show tonight. I got all dressed up and wore my leather sport coat. I'm Salt Paco to them. I got to show up. I've been a part of the art thing here for 2 years, They introduced me. I didn't know. I forgot that a lot of my friends don't want me to tell people I'm a prophet and Salt Paco and the Stones are crying out, but I do anyway. And when they asked me, what are you doing here? Well, the Stones are crying out. My art is showing that the rocks were alive. And, if you're interested, Mud Flood was Armageddon. I teach the Bible in a whole new way. Nobody ever hears anything different from Do Re Mi. You don't believe me? Just call them up and ask them. But that's the way it is, because everything I've said is true. The visions I've had led to the worldwide phenomenon of Mud Flood was Armageddon. The golden ages passed. There's a new theology. There's a new biology because of Flat Earth Nation Golden Age past. I've got a video pulled up that one of the ones that helped me get banned for medical misinformation, because I was talking about the vaccine like they thought I was a doctor, even though I was showing the disclaimer. I was telling them I'm not a doctor, but I thought their vaccine sucked. And I think that time has proven that true. The time of the final end of contending for the truth is now upon those drawn to a very narrow road. Christ divided the water for a reason. He did not divide the light. He brought the light out of the darkness that covered the face of the earth, called dry land. On that day, light did not rescue itself from darkness. Christ called me to remind you he came to cause what? The elect to prove their faith. He has allowed division so the truth can be rightly divided. Think not I came to bring peace. He came to bring division, because you need to be rightly divided in your opinion on our Lord, our Savior, our Creator, or if you're on the narrow road called chosen and faithful, adopted big brother. Let that sink in. Legally adopted. The price was death. It's substitutionary atonement. That's what it's all about. Here's this is their thing. I am not giving medical advice, financial advice. I am giving religious, biblical advice. As someone who brought the Flat Earth Nation, the golden age past, and now, if the people were paying attention since last year, it's been all about February 4th. The United States is going to be bankrupt. The storms are going to flood our insurance company. It is warfare. And it's all come true. And it's going to continue to come true. Let's roll it First up is 3933 to mock deride Laag, who drinks up derision like water, scoffing. The reproach of our neighbors is, it's nobody likes that. Scorn with the scoffing of those who are at ease. This is a word only used 7 times. How did I get there? Psalm 123. The Berean Standard says, we have endured much scorn from the arrogant, much contempt from the proud. Have mercy on us, O Lord, have mercy, for we have endured much contempt. We have endured much scorn from the judgment, much contempt from the proud. So how's that sound? Oh, 5 by 5. It's disclaimed in 5 by 5. Yay! What's this? What is it?
Yeah, this is the double vortex lotus
thanks.
pattern.
Just spit it out, dude.
Is systemic to the entire universe. Yeah, this is the double vortex lotus pattern or standing wave. This is an artistic representation of the same thing. Here's an update.
The closed caption doesn't even want to give his words to the deal. Dude, there it is.
Version of it. I'm just trying to show you the basic double vortex, counter-rotating double vortex that all magnetic fields are. Basically, a magnetic field is a counter-rotating etheric vortex. Two vortexes nested within each other, and my experiment shows that. Anyways, this is a gyroscope that I created. RPM, but again, vibration issue, more homopolar design. I was able to reach RPM of close to 5,000 revolutions per minute, which is by far the fastest gyroscope I've ever created. And
look at it spark.
Continued work, I could probably get the RPM.
Man, what are people into? Hey, if you know anything about, if you know somebody, that is a friend of ours, and you're stuck in the weather, what's going on here?
In our line of thunderstorms that's developing back over along the, we had a lot during the tornado emergency. It was literally at the worst time possible. Like, all my programs just broke at once.
Look at that.
As well.
28 severe warnings, 3 tornado warnings. Look at earlier.
A storm that's produced a lot of tornadoes in the past, but the
on the ground, please take it seriously.
15
hey, Riley, for the update.
warnings.
Yeah, I do agree. This is definitely a significant tornado in progress. What is Stormer looking at right now? That's Scud. We haven't gotten to 50. This number's going to drop in like 30 seconds, but we almost got to 50 like here, producing some damaging winds and hail heading up towards
So
Appleton.
this is around where RJ lives. This is hitting Wisconsin. And there are other people that I know in the path of these storms, and they are not to be taken lightly. You know what? I got to remember there were a couple of things I wanted to bring about. Now look at Big Pig Slapper Oink. One of the young guys, this guy, is it Jimmy? Jimmy made a video. I have it pulled up. I can't wait. I got to look at it now.
Well, good afternoon, folks.
Because this reminds me when the Big Pig Slapper, when he first came on, he was one of these people that was one of the first people. And until he became the Judas by just randomly attacking people, he had a dog that liked this cat. That was one of the things where Big Pig Slapper thought that the Stones were crying out because he thought he had a rock that had salt in it because his dog wouldn't quit licking it. And look at this cat. He just loves this. This must be a salty heart, but it's like the one his comment said, you know, hey, look at this video I made. The stone you showed is one I've had in my garden for 10 years, 12 years.
I pray you're all having a pleasant day. I got another rock for you to try to identify for me. That is, if you're feeling up to it. Miss Keeter's pretty curious herself. Just what is this? This is another one of them rocks I found about a dozen years ago.
That cat is not curious. It likes the taste of salt.
Out in either Logansport or Buffalo, Indiana. This one likely came from pretty far beneath the ground.
All of those little dots are, you know, the small blood vessels, nerve endings. All of these are where they follow veins and arteries, and these metallic deposits are along the vein and artery because that's where they were in a panic. It was raining. They didn't know what rain was, and they didn't drown. They got hit with the glittering sword. So they were full adrenaline, either scared or have repented and said, I should have listened to Noah. Everything about this rock, the succulus marks, the part on the right side, that's where those, I forget which ones they are. But they're on the left and the right. The top is the vena cava and all of those.
Pulled up by some manner of digging equipment. I find the stripes rather curious, and there's a couple particulars about this stone. Some of these marks on here seem consistent with contusions, like right there.
Well, that would be consistent with right ventricle, left ventricle, because one side has the blood that needs to be cleansed. Good blood, bad blood. Good oxygen, bad oxygen. Clean it up, boys.
Was this thing once alive? And it took a battering and a little bit of desiccation?
To the top of it, they're always going to have those marks. You can tell that the Gordian knot is there. I could practically draw you a picture of what that's going to look like on the inside.
Before it was preserved?
Look at that cream. Hey, did you know that I know that this cat is a girl? Because only 3-colored cats are always girls. If a cat has 3 colors, it's a girl.
I don't know. But if you do, please tell me. Well, good afternoon, folks. I pray you're all having a pleasant day. I got another rock for you to try to identify for me. That is, if you're feeling up to it. Miss Keeter's pretty curious herself. Just what is this?
I guess
This is another one of them rocks I found about a dozen years ago. Out in either Logansport or...
So if you know anywhere about these
Before I show
storms,
you
let me
the radar
know.
for tonight.
We'll pray
This
for
is the
you
SPC
tonight.
outlook for the next several days. This is tomorrow. We have a 5% tornado risk in the southern plains. I almost think undoubtedly we're going to be live tomorrow. On Sunday, the risk of severe weather significant in the Great Plains. Monday is another significant day of severe weather. Again, guess what? In the central and southern plains. Tuesday, we have another threat of significant severe weather, basically in almost the same area as today. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That's live, everybody. This is happening today. You know what else happened today? We're going to get to some stuff that blows your mind. But first, I know you like to start with this stuff. And this reminds me, I showed the disclaimer, but I never showed you the pictures I saved. Look, I saw this. Supposedly, that guy from the FBI, the former James Comey, He did this. This was his tweet. Dabu said 8647 is a warning. The ex-FBI director, Comey, is under investigation. They consider this a call to assassinate the 47th president of the United States. 86 means do away with, right? Make it go bye-bye. 8647. When you subtract 8,647 days from the day he made that post yesterday, all your troubles, they were not far away. They were a day away. And the result was, oh, so he saved this post so it matches September 11th. We are not the only ones who make a big deal out of September 11th. The perverts, the Comet Pizza people, the John Podestas working for Hillary Clinton, infested with the poison of Maria Abramovich, who has soaked in the Blavatsky Freemason Rosicrucian lie of spreading the myth of the woman power. They got the power. Boom, boom, boom. I got it from here. The Biden administration admitted they don't know where 300,000 children were 4 years ago. Yeah. She's talking. I'm as mad as these two people look when I was listening too. So here's that video. I took a screenshot of it. It's like, look in the mirror. Supposedly, my content that posed a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines that are approved and confirmed to be safe and effective. Huh. Much to my surprise. Look at all this water that is circled. This is not Colorado, but all of this water is, and this is Mexico. This is kind of that crazy little Baja, like Tijuana. There's that little hook. It goes down to the Baja, remember? So a lot of Mexico gets a lot of Colorado water. This is the Imperial Valley. They get 80% of the allotment for California goes to this one area. And I think this too. I wonder if they count this. But anyway, my oldest sister was born here in Mexicali. Actually, it's Calexico. It's right on the border, and there's like 5 or 6 blocks, and one of them includes a hospital. And my oldest sister, was born there in 1956. I wonder what my dad was working on there. Here, the Vitis had canals. For some reason, they had all kinds of money. This guy embezzled thousands of dollars. It's named after Venice, Italy. You've probably heard of Venice Beach. You probably didn't know that it had, well, it was its own little town. And this guy supposedly, he did it all. He's got his picture, in the post office from the 30s. He wanted a little way to make money on the side, so he did it. At the boardwalk. So there's the boundaries of what was his 1905. Not bad. That's a good start. That's not a canal though. That's cafe. Race the daredevil for life. Well, it doesn't get any bigger. Thanks, Wikipedia. Appreciate your lack of not being able to find one that is good. Daredevil Race for Life sounds easy. This looks like Merry Christmas Time. I can't really tell much else. Mud flood buildings, arches. I could say Model T, but I don't know if that's a Model T or not. Model T, 1915. Look at her. A female figure labeled prosperity is gesturing towards, look at the size of that amusement park at the bottom left here. Come to it. Come to visit the dance hall days. Dance all day long? Sure. I believe them. Not even a little bit. That looks weird. I don't get it. What are they selling? Where's that ship? That's a roller coaster. Let's look over here. Step right up. It's 10 cents, everybody. I want a bargain bracelet. Okay. Now, nothing photoshopped out of these pictures. This isn't crudely drawn pencil, is it? It's probably hiding a very elaborate swastika or something, because this is all fakety doodah. Kind of fits in from back here in a way, but not really. Is it a demolished building? Look at those two having some fun. Hey, mama, maybe they cut back on that extra biscuit for breakfast, right? What in the world? Yeah, that's fake. Don't ask me why it's so fake. Look at this. They even put a face in this one. I think that's an added face. You see it? The nose, the lips, the chin. It's Abraham Lincoln without a beard. Or it's me looking in the mirror. Venice Beach, Venice canals. Oh, they're still there. They still have some canals. They're probably very expensive and dirty. He did it. That guy did it. He supposedly built that mud flood building. Right. Sure. Who wants to slam dunk the basketball? I could slam dunk until I was 30 years old and had my wife film it when I felt like, you know what? It's not going to last. Why would you not want a mini bike or something? Why? That's skateboarding. I mean, I'm all for adrenaline, but skateboarding is too hard. Sergio, I know you think it's easy, but how many times do you get hurt? Oh, it's surfing. That looks fun. What? History is a myth? What are you doing, girl? You spending too much time with your hands underneath the covers. This is a teen hostel. This is where the teens go to stay for cheap. You can rent a Segway, or you can get a body massage, a foot massage. You want a fake henna tattoo? You get 2 for $10. History's fake. Venice Beach, everybody. Youth hostel. Same son, youth hostel. Same son, youth hostile. How much? What? That's the cheap price for a youth hostile, 182, 152? No, that can't be it. They're just trying to say, we can get you something close. Nice try, you guys. There's a Vancouver hostel. Here's the hostel. That's the back of it. Looks like they're having a party. That's what they do. House rules, money. Looks like they do have some here. Now, this one says there's a hostel there. It's only $17. $17 a night? That can't be true. Anyway, they had canals in Venice. This looks like a video I made. How we are all groomed, page 3, Max. Was this a banned video? And I wrestled against this team. That was their fat coach. I always thought, how in the world can that fat coach have so many good wrestlers, man? I mean, they were unstoppable. They were unstoppable. The whole team was good. Jerry Sandusky. Sorry, Great Britain. We've had all these scandals, man. We're tone deaf. We just accept that the people in power cover up for people that just go, yikesity do die, yikesity day, child serial, child molester, and retired college football coach from Penn State, where everybody knew, go Joe. Assistant coach of the year, several books, go the Second Mile Foundation so he can get at the boys in 77. And whoa, sorry, great. Yeah, they raped little boys, and then all the girls that we cheered for winning the gold medals and trying to win the gold medals and doing really make us proud. They had a Jewish person that was raping them digitally every night while he's giving them massages. So, as some guiltily admit, I think that he was fingering them to an orgasm, and every night they'd be like, oh, and then finally they were like, he touches me funny. Yeah, me too. How many? Thousands. And I'm just worn out, but even our gymnastics team, were you guys scandalized, or was it just because it wasn't a political issue? It's Labor Party or Tories or Brexit. I forget. Who are we mad at in England anyway? Anybody get mad? Look, he's crying. I can't believe I have to go to jail for 175 years. All I did was systematically abuse children, 20 years. Well, let's see what the Wikipedia said here. Team doctor, United States women's gymnastic team. For 20 years. Rapist, 18. Used his position to exploit and sexually assault hundreds of young athletes as part of the largest sex scandal in the world. He just taught other people how to do it. And he said, get all of these girls to know what it's like as young as possible to have their button pushed. I didn't even know that. You're really you're tied in with the government, I think. If you're in with that. Man, they're perverts, man. Bad. So bad. Think of all the and eat the children. They're cooking and eating them because of their satanic. They started with abortion saying, you know, oh, it's only going to be safe and rare in the first trimester. We know, and we're going like, no, you're getting this legal, and then it's going to be you want to murder all the babies. How dare you accuse us? And now we have partial birth abortions. That's murder. Saline, come on. It's and oh, all we want to do is get married. We don't want to be called a civil service. We want to be married in a church like real people. Okay. And in the meantime, everything about the people in charge has been sexualized. Those famous, super famous girls that could do all those backflips and stuff, you know? Yeah, my wife was a college gymnast. I was into it like everybody else. You just couldn't go get it, right? Robert Maxwell, the Jolene Maxwell. What is the page 3 thing? And what is the Sun that Pierce Morgan and those guys were working in? They introduced this in 1970 and it ran until 2018. They showed nude topless girls from 16 to 18 years old. What? And they're right there in every English newspaper. That'd be against the law of the United States, and it should be. I want to strike the fact that I said it was every English newspaper. It was only the ones that could afford it. Now, this isn't a part of history they even tried to politicize. Well, I guess I spelled my name funny. And as a matter of fact, we in America, all the girls that we know from England, it seemed like a majority or at least a good percentage of them started on, hey, look at my boobs. I'm on the newspaper in London. Okay, we get it, Paco. The issue because, like, why? Who's this one? Running down her cheek. Lucy Pender. I thought it was because, as I read it, it was because they wouldn't put it in a loaded complied. Man, I thought it was bad in the United States, but this Robert Maxwell, the Lolita Express. Birthday suit girls. First model was 20 years old, so they got something to go there. But all these girls got famous from the Sun. That's Robert Maxwell. Newspapers. Facebook tried to learn how to brainwash you. Look at these people. Rupert Murdoch, Jeff Archer, James Bond movies. My goodness, there was Microsoft. Now remember, this is all about those Lolita Express things. And I you know, remember, I am in this school because when I was in Texas after Tommy betrayed me, I ended up with a broken heel recovering. And I read, well, you know, I want to get back to Colorado. So I contacted the DA. Sorry, I told you to kiss my ass. And I was. And I want to come back to Colorado. I want to go to Adams State because I found out in 2017, they appointed the first female president, Beverly McClure, who was recommended by Bill Richardson. And I knew even then he was one of the guys on the Lolita Express. And I thought, well, the Lord has already showed me the reason I was looking at Alamosa is I had made my decision not north of Fairbanks, Alamosa, the San Juan Mountains. Alamosa is my base, but I'm going to be in the mountains. I'm coming here anyway. I might as well go to college since I'm supposed to be so freaking smart. And I did get a scholarship and everything else. So I came to school here to expose Beverly McClure. Mission accomplished with that also. They tried to, I've proven they tried to double my thing. They lied to my face. They said that I didn't send in a bill. They said they didn't give me the PayPal account, and now they're proven liars. It happens in real time, in real life this way, when the Lord wants you to be the Salt Paco, the artist that did the stones, that told the world you're reading the Bible wrong because God is showing me if he said it was back then, it was back then. Now, I have a lot of friends, and I have friends here in real life, but it is getting old. My friends telling me you're just another guy. Because the people here don't think that. The people here in Alamosa thinking, we are kind of safe here, aren't we? But you're not. Do you want to go back to the storm? We'll look at the storm before we get back to the Robert Maxwell thing.
What was that again? Harlan? Harlan. There's a camera that's kind of on the southern edge of where the wind is, but it's not going to probably have much. Gonna put it
This is starting 4 days of. It's not your turn today. Wait. Happened a half hour ago. Wow.
Wolves in 4. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you, Casey, Mike, Haley, and Brad, and Amber, all for the Venmo donations, and also Barbara for the PayPal donation. Really appreciate the support.
If you know anybody, if you're in a storm, put it in the chat. Is anybody in the storm? Christian apps for singles are very sexualized. My wife couldn't wait to get remarried to just exacerbate her adulteries.
Man, I could just start reading anywhere, but I got some time constraints. After escaping Nazi occupation, sure, this way, here's how you get out. Probably with help of the YMCA and the Red.
Okay, I was going to pause it and add the Catholic Church. I'll add
Cross, the Vatican. Got decorated, big war hero. Started right in on Pergament, getting into the English market, the United States market, became a member of parliament, because remember how we got that legalized? We talked about Benjamin Disraeli. Can't expect you to remember everything, but
he's the one that made it legal for Jews like Robert Maxwell to be in the parliament.
When I give you those, that'll harden those.
You know enough about this sick bastard and his daughter.
They did it. Can scan who has cold before like morsels. Discovered a new type of proprietary energy called deadly argon.
What?
Which in this material form he claimed appeared.
Deadly argon, cluster of hollow pipes resembling a Gatling gun. Reich, who had worked with Sigmund Freud on human sexuality in the 1920s, moved to Germany in 1930s, joined the Commie Party. Oh, that's not going to make Hitler the happy man. He's a socialist, not a communist. Damn it. That's what he would say. Anyway, bioelectric energy. I'm a one-trick pony. Hey, one-trick pony.
New version comes out. It seems like they jumped the gun, get it, and said, we know how to work it. And they don't. They flood their cities.
Oh, they're buying the chemtrail stuff and then they don't know how to use it.
This isn't about it. Jerry Sandusky. Sorry, great. Page 3 girls had to come to an end. It's just, it's all part of the same plan here.
Gold Cloud Dust.
Uses psychoanalyst Wilhelm Reich. Claimed he could produce rain by manipulating orgone energy. Absorb the orgone. Maybe they're just trying to make anybody that ever says this look crazy. I just think it's too much.
This is that crazy thing, right? The cloud, an array of parallel hollow copper tubes that are connected at the rear in a series of flexible copper hoses, which are equal or slightly, purportedly draw energy to the ground like a lightning rod. There's a cloud duster
You
picture.
should take a look.
Oh, it's the girl from the Talking Heads. No, not the Talking Heads. What's the name of that band that Kate Bush was in? Love Shack. What's that band? Love Shack. Must be playing on another. Get it figured out, man.
He's a good helper. A lot of fist pumping in this video.
Yeah, he did it. But in the end, the girl makes it work. And she made it rain, even though they were going to shut him down.
Fist pump.
That is not the girl that is running up that hill. Or maybe it is.
He's a very famous actor.
Yeah, he's super famous. Wrap it up.
Like, hey, look, boobs on TV every day.
What?
We're living in a freaked out.
Enough of that. Huh. So apparently, I looked up this video for something that I covered, and the only one that came in is that you can't. This is the video that got taken down because it got a copyright strike. I must have said something. But I disclaimed.
Welcome, everybody, to Mudflood Was Armageddon, formerly Flat Earth Nation. That it is still a Flat Earth Nation. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair.
Man, Noah, you punked out.
That, and that you will draw them unto you, that you will let them.
And Web Danubi came on.
Process and the people. And I know that, I don't talk about Oklahoma enough or the impact it had on my life.
and people don't even know about it when I do talk about it. Which is always surprising to me. I can't believe it. I can't believe, who would have thought that, 4 years after this, somebody would come out going like, the Nephilims are clowns because I did mushrooms or LSD and a demon told me. And so he also said, you're crazy, man, because you don't know that Nephilims are clowns. You should read the book of Enoch. And so now I'm dealing with that. What are you doing, Webb? You used to show rocks and everything. You believed Noah when he lied about me, and then you didn't apologize when he was proven to be wrong. I like all
I
of
never
it.
heard that before.
Turtle and the eyeball Earth. We know it's something with the dome and a shell.
Right.
It made it any more symbolically obvious.
Well, and what I was going to say about the vax too is that and like you guys were saying, a lot of these people are into yoga and they're into organic food and
I think they're admitting now that that the Fauci wasn't all that, and that he might have did that gain of function thing like that. The Ron Paul's famous son, he's a doctor too.
Body of Christ.
They say.
Yeah.
And people need to realize that those extraordinary stories of conversion, like yours and Noah's, are to be bad. So these extraordinary conversions are sketchy to me now. The opposite of Jeffrey Stone. I don't know where, because he's against vaccine, and Dr. Jeffrey Stone, Gentle Eagle, head of Oklahoma Native American Church, is a vaccine fiend.
And I think this number is going to go down dramatically.
Yeah, to
So
zero.
I can't tell you like.
You see, this is the attitude. Yeah, it's going to go down to zero. And as a matter of fact, it went lower than that. They had to refund me another $530 because they got caught in a lie defending DEI where I came to expose. How did you hire Beverly McClure? She wasn't a university president. Oh, Bill Richardson, he recommended her. And now this became the gay capital of Southern Colorado. I had California on my mind because of that Venice Beach thing. I laid it out the whole time.
A couple of seconds, she's going to say, sir, you obviously have caught us lying. Our DEI has tried to shut you down, throw you in jail for a traffic ticket where I was working with the DA to go to Castle Rock and pay it and apologize for telling the guy to. It is so nice to have, to be God's servant and be right and be the guy that's like, no, what were you doing that day? Serving the Lord, trying to expose you guys. And you were throwing me in jail, only helping me, acting like I can't do a week in jail. Well, I mean, it's not like I don't want to go back. That's for sure. I mean, it is so boring. And they only give you one blanket. What's that? The mental torture. Got to, mind his P's and Q's, but there's a lot of things he's good at, and I pray that he'll be blessed for helping me. The only one so far.
True. So there's been a ton of credits to your account saying
that's all due to Kenai Douglas and
credits to my account. Yeah, we were getting it settled out. Now that once you got caught, they started applying the grants that they knew I was capable of receiving because of my scholarship that they hadn't been. Guilty.
I'm shocked that it went down like this.
Yeah, hold on. I'm adding it all up for you, like how much has been credited.
It's all credited. It should have all been so easy.
Yeah, so you've had like credits of like 10,000.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. And they were telling me I owed that much because this is their 10 years of gay power. This girl did it. She knew. I don't know who is leaning on her shoulder here. Maybe it was a thing going there, but Dr. DeVoe, she knew he was lying to me. She knew they were lying about the money, how much, and I owed, and they were trying to kick me out because they're gay perverts. And they want to protect that. They don't want to think that doing something the Bible calls an abomination is wrong.
2015, they're about to hire a girl that gets recommended by a guy that flew on the Lolita Express because it was gay power time. I think those days are over.
I hope, but I can't be sure. Let's go a little bit to Bible time. Bible time. In the Hebrew, 6213 is a concordance number. Saw, to do, to make, to accomplish, to perform. God made the expanse. Now that's different than create bearing fruit. He made the expanse, and then the earth made the plants that bared the fruit. But there's a difference when you're talking about he's making the firmament. Guess who else was made? We a damn. You a damn. You know who I'm talking about. God made the earth. Oh, maybe that's not the one. I thought it would be the Genesis 2:8 where he formed us, but said that's probably coming up. But definitely this is something that was made. Yeah, I pulled these tabs up before I went to the art show. Did I tell you I went to the art show? Yeah, I'm the artist Salt Paco here. The guy that started tried to, do a whole read the Bible a new way. Yeah, I guess I'm supposed to hide that, but that's not what God has called me to do, to hide that. That would be like really bad for me. He made man. That is where I was getting that tie into Genesis 2. What are you saying here? We'll read Genesis 6, verse 6. And the Lord regretted he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. Some people say repented, but this really means that he was grieved. It's not repented. It's not, I think the King James, it's not that. Even the New King James says, what in the HE double toothpicks are you talking about, you crazy people? We're trying to clean up the scripture here. Yay, King James, but don't give me that type of baloney. I think I lean toward more grief. Oh, it was grieved. Oh, that's why I get it. It's what it means. Another grieved. This is Joseph comforting his brothers. Grieved. Where did I get this verse? I know I didn't start there, did I? Ashu. That's right. From Psalm 95. His hand made the dry. What? The sea is his, for he made it. That's why I looked this verse up. I think this is pretty close to where we started. And his hands formed dry land. Yeah. Yep. This Psalm 95. For the Lord is a great Elohim, a great king above all the other Elohim. We better look it up. I could be making it up or wrong. Okay. Yahweh is the creator, Jesus, and he's the greater than all the other Elohim. Yeah, we know that. We got it. He's the great God. Yahweh is great God. Newsflash. We already know that. I'm just wonder what else it said in there that might be worth looking at. Great. It's not Gibarim, but it is mighty. It is important. It is the greater of two lights. It is that great city. I think it's built on a cliff. Ooh, great plagues. Above. Not dead. You're above the ground. Oh, its darkness was over the surface. Firmament again. Over the firmament. Seeds over the earth. That's good. Let's keep going. So next we're looking at Genesis 1:7. Here he's dividing the firmament. God divided the firmament. He made made the expanse, separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse that he made. And so it was. Let there be. That's how you make it. Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let dry land appear. Called it earth. Is that Eretz? Land, not the dust. All right. Is that where we started with all of this? Yep. What else we got? How manifold are your works. In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. Here is the sea, great and wide, which teems with creatures innumerable, living things both small and great. There goes the ships and Leviathan, which he formed to play in it. Yeah, that's where you know I wanted to go see what formed. What do you mean you formed it? How did this forming go about? You have made Yashatar 35. Form, fashion, create. Okay, this is how you were made. These are the people that the other Elohim were too big to plow the ground. And in Genesis 5, it said there was no man to plow the ground. So Ha Adam, we Adam, this Adam was formed a man. He had formed it this way, same way God formed all the beasts from the dust. He didn't make in an image, he formed from the dust, breathed life into Adam, later took a rib from Adam, sculpted a woman because it was not good for man to be alone. Earthen vessels. I planned it. I formed it. This is where all of that, I am the pot, or you are the potter, I am the clay. Mold me and make me after thy will, while I am waiting, yielded and still. Potters, earthenware, Yashar. I already had it pulled up. I guess I really wanted to go over this one. I think I wanted to read more of Psalm 104, but here's somebody bearing, giving birth, and one of them is Enoch. Enoch was born, bearing. What's this? Wait, where are we? Yalad, to bear, bring forth, beget. In pain you will bring forth. You're going to bear children. Okay. I don't get it. This isn't fitting in with what I'm looking at here. Anybody got any bad weather? You can report it in the chat. Anybody got any idea what we're trying to tie in here? Maybe it's that men don't have children. Women do. Still pretty sure on that. Max, how's the weather?
This is also on track for Caledonia, Gracie, Hopkinsville, and Montgomery.
Where?
If you're in this tornado warning, continue to stay in your safe place. If we get a tornado, it could be on the stronger side of things.
There's 5 tornado warnings. I heard of the grapefruit-sized hail.
Still got strong rotation near Glens Fork and Russell Springs in Kentucky. Large mesocyclone has not produced a tornado from our understanding, but could at any time as it moves up towards Jamestown. Had a wall cloud with this storm for a long time. This storm has been, I'm pretty sure this storm's been going for like hours. I think this was the one that started in southeast Missouri, if I'm not mistaken.
So this is from the other night talking about the San Francisco being 25,000 cubits by 10,000 cubits. No, this is talking about the holy portion for the priest. But San Francisco was that also. Yeah, the common portion. You know, they describe the star forged cities in the Bible. Acts 20. Now I know again that none of you among whom I have preached the kingdom will see my face again. Paul, therefore, even though the Judaizers were hating him, having him beat, still said, therefore I testify to you to this day that I am innocent of the blood of all men. For I did not shrink back from declaring to you the whole will of God. What is the will of God? Present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable. That is your reasonable spiritual service. There's going to be people that claim to be Christians rise up and distort the truth. That's what Noah did. What's this? This is from the other night. I guess this isn't going to be as long. I know I still have to end with a Don't you think about going away? We got a lot more coming in. It might not be as yeah, because this is just going over how we got here, how the perverts they ruin everything. They're macroeconomics. That's John Maynard Keyes. John Maynard Keyes, first gay. Oh, he was bisexual. But what was he the first of? But what did he do? Why is he famous? Oh, because he did macroeconomics and he was so smart they had to put up with his come hither looks because he was so smart. He could pretend to be in love with these girls, but you know what they like to do when they get alone? And I can just imagine what these guys did to Barack Obama when he was young, and he must have thought, well, this is easy enough. And hey, he seems like he's dumb enough to just think that really is as good as it can get. Oh, life's easy. These guys did it. They did it to you, and they're perverts. They're just the worst. That's just by looking up John Maynard Keyes.
Dutton writes that for many communities, recruitment meant, if not actual death, total loss, temporary or permanent, of kin, warriors, hunters, homemakers, loved ones. While colonial administrators insisted the recruitment was voluntary, observers saw it differently. The Economist writes, the administration claimed to be recruiting paid volunteers, while its agents forced Africans to work at gunpoint. Recruitment was further limited by the endemic sickness of the region, with communities already decimated by sleeping sickness, and the fact that many laborers were already being used to maintain local roads.
Wow. That had to be a one-time thing. Here's an interesting thing.
Wooden rails, but as technology developed, cast iron and then wrought iron rails replaced the wooden rails. Rails called plateways, which used L-shaped rails with the upper side of the L holding the wheels in place, developed in the 18th century. But as the track and gauge becomes more important, as cars and locomotives built for one gauge will not fit on tracks for another gauge. Track gauge is an important factor. Wider gauges are more stable and
yeah. Look at that. That's a scramble.
were an economic competition over control of lines, but the cost of transferring goods at the point where incompatible lines met, called the break of gauge, finally forced Parliament to act. The Regulating the Gauge of Railways Act of 1846 stipulated that new lines would be made on the standard gauge unless they were directly connected to the current broad gauge network. In many ways, the standard gauge is a reasonable compromise. In fact, research on ancient
Get to the point.
in the 18th century and by the mid-1820s had established common carriers like the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. While there was relatively more rail development
Hold on to your hat.
in spare parts. But the difference in gauges did make it more difficult for the Union to move troops by rail in the South. After the war, during the period of Reconstruction, trade between the North and South.
The period of Reconstruction was when it basically was slavery again. They were expanding. Look at this is how that away. That doesn't look fake.
Operating officers of the South's railroads met in Atlanta and agreed to
I'm sure they did.
schedule. The extra crew could jump out and assist to get back on schedule. The work was done with amazing speed. In a period of just 36 hours, virtually the entirety of the Southern Railway lines, an estimated 11,500 miles worth.
Okay, so what we got here is 36 hours, 11,000 miles. They changed all of those tracks to in 36 hours. And like when they were jacking up the streets and all the pick every town that jacked up the streets, the businesses kept running and the people hardly knew they were jacking up
the new gauge. Some axles were laid for the new gauge and had a ring added to hold the wheel at the old gauge. During the switch, the ring was removed and the wheel moved to the new gauge. Lays were positioned compatible. It was short-sighted of the committee not to move to the 4-foot, 8.5-inch gauge, that as the track gauge of the Transcontinental Railroad was clearly the gauge of the future. Still, the commission went with the 4-foot, 9-inch Pennsylvania gauge. Understand the sheer magnitude of this process. Not only did they have to convert some 11,500 miles of rail, but also all the locomotives and rolling stock. And as trains would not be able to operate during the switch, it was important that the switchover occur as quickly as possible. The date for the switch was set between Monday.
So they not only changed 11,500 miles worth of track, all of the trains that were on the old tracks had to have their wheels either expanded or shortened to match the new track. No problem, because they planned ahead.
31st and Tuesday, June 1st. That gave just 4 months to prepare for the massive undertaking. Only one rail had to be moved, so rails all along the way were marked for the new gauge using a 3-inch length of pipe. As many as 2 and 3 of the spikes on the inside of the rail were moved to the new gauge.
It's all a lie. And at the end, they try to say it only can happen because of the great planning. Like that ever happened in the United States? 36 hours, 11,500 miles. They had 4 months to get ready.
Agriculture and manufacturing represented almost equal shares of the workforce. But the immediate impact of the switch was somewhat surprising. The increased standardization should have resulted in lower shipping costs because of greater efficiency. But a 2016 analysis of route-level traffic data determined that while the switch moved some commerce from riverboats to rail,
the rich people still got richer.
And Kechi, these children become a captive victim population. They have no access to law enforcement. They don't know their rights, and they are captives of criminal organizations. This is heartbreaking. And the fact that Aaron revealed this in February of 21, that it's
Right.
just, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. The failure of the Biden administration when it comes to the safety and security of our nation, as well as the safety and the security.
It might be comfortable, but it's not true to blame only one party. This has been going on since this is Satan's world now. They're doing it. They're cooking and eating children. They have, I don't know the numbers, but it's way too many. When you're in the grocery store, half of them have had abortions or a sexually transmitted disease. It's crazy times.
Security of children. It's an absolute just horror. I mean, it has been heartbreaking.
So, and I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine what you've been through looking at these children and blowing the whistle on this. Just, I'm gonna say that again, because it just makes my skin. It makes me want to cry. Actually, it's so disgusting. Tara Rodas is a federal whistleblower who exposed the Biden administration's government-sponsored, taxpayer-funded child trafficking under HHS, under the Department of Homeland Security and HHS. And these unaccompanied children, their unaccompanied children program, and funneling these children off to be sold into sex slavery and then ultimately killed. Well, now we know that George
is that sinking in? Did you know, where are we at here? Ultimately killed?
Well, now we know that George Soros linked NGOs are suing to stop the Trump administration from cracking down on this child trafficking crackdown. They're going after it, trying to stop it. And George Soros-backed NGOs are stepping in the way. And Tara Rodas joins us now. Tara, great to see you again.
So here's a little more background.
To stop crimes against children. So thank you so much for continuing to air this story. And it is absolutely appalling that they are now trying to stop these crimes that are being committed against children and trying to stop the Trump administration from deporting MS-13 gang members and other members of transnational criminal organizations who we know began exploiting this system.
You think it's an accident? It says number 47.
In early 2021. And I have to give credit to the very first person to crash the door, which was DHS whistleblower Aaron Stevenson. He began to notice a pattern in February of 2021 that members of the transnational organized crime watch list, so the TOC watch list,
Members of they're on the watch list. He noticed, hey, a bunch of the people on the watch list are going to adopt children. And they yawned and said, what, are you anti-gay?
were beginning to sponsor children. So Aaron revealed that we had a national security threat in that we were allowing these criminals into our country, MS-13, 18th Street Gang, and other crime syndicates.
Now, I've shown these, we've known this, but the Hispanic, the people from Chihuahua, they're hearing this from the first time from me, and their minds are blown because they know these people. So, you know, tone it down, Paco. Maybe this whole I'm a prophet thing, you can wait till what?
And then worse, we're handing them off, right? We're allowing children to be handed off to them. So as I testified before Congress, this system was being exploited and it became a white glove delivery service of children to gang members and cartels. It's unthinkable.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Whole of government approach, looking at the data, and we can find not just the children, but the traffickers. And so this is something that I think that hasn't been done before.
It's one of those things. Sign up, supporter. They're going to do it. It'll be okay. We can fix it. So I guess where the gold nuggets are and those things, it's called the trigeminal cave or Meckel's cave. It is in that, you know, ophthalmic maxillary. Remember those two maxillary? Oh yeah, it's gold.
It contains the trigeminal ganglia. The free and the attached.
Look at how it looks like, you know. So this is what it looks like. That's why some of this is that mixed in with white matter, and it looks like a clam or mollusks. That's a good view of it. You can see there her dotted lines here. We'll be looking for the cave, okay? This is the oculomotor nerves and the tricular nerves. You know, those are important.
Dash margin of the tentorium cerebelli cross each other near the apex of the petrous part of the temporal bone. Acts as a site of absorption of.
You know, we see these. This is the rocks. They're crying out. Look at it. They got a name for everything because the inside your head is busy. You being a double vortex run on a battery, you know, that you feed it with, you know, whatever you eat is your food for your battery. Don't act like we don't know you go poop. Everybody goes poop.
Crista galli. So anterior end is attached to the crista galli.
A couple more looks at the pictures here.
So this is the medial surface.
Look at that.
From the occipital lobe of the
Is your anchor going to hold?
And this tentorium cerebelli.
Look at this one.
Margin. So this is the free margin and then attached margin. We'll see about the.
I figured if I was studying it, you need to know.
Trigeminal impression
What do you do with your
on the
time?
vitreous part of the temporal bone. It contains the trigeminal ganglion. The
Trigeminal
free and the
ganglia.
attached margin of the tentorium cerebelli cross each other near the apex. The inferior surface is concave and fits the convex superior surface of the cerebellum. So this is the cerebellum. The fox cerebelli is attached to the
Wow.
posterior, the hypophyseal fossa.
So there's your part of your trilobite. What is the fetus prognosis? So, oh no, the crazy people that are in charge now, a hospital tells the family of a brain dead Georgia woman that you must carry fetus. She must carry fetus to birth because of the abortion ban. Well, how about because it's the right thing to do? Now, they did pick a child where they claim this baby has a 50-50 chance to live. We don't know if it's a life worth living. Why can't we kill it? Oh, you're dragging this out. It's only emotional because they want to kill babies. Cook them and eat them if they get the chance. The Bible tells you about those people. This person went to China or something. Somehow, let's click the back button. 412, 413, a grain elevator. Where would 414? That's Dwight. Hey, look, that's the town where I grew up. This thing had pictures of the town where I grew up. That's not it. That's Dwight. I know the guy who did that. Second Baptist Church pastor. Little post house. We used to live on the corner. Like there's this house and then the bank. And then we lived on the corner across from the bank. Then my sister, but never mind. What difference does it make? So this has this is where I used to jump my motorcycle, hit the railroad tracks and jump. Fire department. Just this used to be a box factory. You know, you couldn't buy beer here until like in the 1980s. I'm not even sure if that's there anymore. There's a graveyard right here out of sight on the right. I've been on top of that water tower. Another view of the tracks that you could get a nice gentle and then a real nice soft place to land. This is American Legion, first place that sold beer. Oh, we already saw that. Now here's that cave. So maybe the cerebral spinal fluid, this dural matter that is in here, is where the gold is not much. You know, the rest of it is in dust form, you know. But these trigeminal ganglions, that we heard that right. These guys had it figured out how the body works. You know, these pictures, I mean, what is this, Grey's Anatomy? Yeah, 1918. They had it figured out, man. And it's easy once you get the body, there's the brain right there. I mean, they act like it's like, oh my gosh, you can never learn everything about the, you know, the brain. Oh, really? Okay. Only your friends, right? Bible time. We want you to know, brothers, about the grace of God that has been given among the churches in Macedonia. I want to see if I've been banned yet. No, it's still 9 people listening. Well, thank you. Well, there you go. You got a butt chin gene that went to my daughter. Yeah, my whole family got the butt chin thing going there. Or then this meniscus that makes that little part of your chin that sticks out. Nobody going to explain that one, right? That's weird. Hey, you guys, thanks for sticking around. This will be a very important part. We're going to close it out with a Bible study about the mindset of people as they waited for what we know now was Armageddon. And our mindset now, while we look for the narrow road, we're almost to a person. It is, you know, I can give some money here or there, but nobody's going to hold me to where you've got to give. You know, our mindset is we give when we want to, when we feel so led. Let's read this Bible. What was going on back here? And I think we have a few more ideas I want to throw into the mix. So hold on. There's a severe test of going on, but there was grace of God that has been given to Macedonia. Their abundance of joy and their extreme poverty have overflowed in a wealth of generosity on their part, for they gave according to their means, as I can testify, and beyond their means of their own accord, begging us earnestly for the favor of taking part in the relief of the saints. And this, not as we expected, but they gave themselves first to the Lord, and then by the will of God to us accordingly. We urged Titus that as he had started, so he should complete among you this act of grace. They're going to deliver it to other Christians. We urge Titus. They're going to complete that act of grace. Verse 7, but as who he's writing to the Corinthians, but as you excel in everything, 2 Corinthians, I should mention, because there was not like, oh, everything's always good in Corinthians. No, there was a lot of things that had to get straightened out in 1 Corinthians. Okay, but now this is 2 Corinthians. And so he's encouraging them, telling them that as you excel in everything, in faith, speech, knowledge, in all earnestness, and in our love for you, see that you excel in this act of grace also. Because people weren't fake starving, they were real starving. Verse 8 says, just one second. I almost felt like I was going to go like, how like all of a sudden your voice goes out. And I do not want that. Lo siento, that's Espanol. Wow, I am almost afraid to talk. For you know the grace of our Lord, that though he was rich, yet for your sake he became poor, so that by his poverty, so that by you, let me start verse 9 over again. But you know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for your sake he became poor, so that you by his poverty might become rich. In the really the only way there is in this fake world. It's not our home. And in this matter, I give my judgment. Well, he is the Apostle Paul. Is he not apostle? Did not Jesus give him the power to say, here's a handkerchief, I touched it, be healed? The signs and wonders the man did were it's beyond comprehension. He was saved to show how much he must suffer for Christ's namesake, and he did. It goes, he's going to give his judgment here. Let's hear it. This benefits you who a year ago started not only to do this work, that's a long time in their world because the end is fast, but also to desire to do it. So now finish doing it as well, so that your readiness in desiring it may be matched by your completing it out of what you have. For if the readiness is there, it is acceptable according to what a person has, not according to what he does not have. Verse 13, now come on, pay attention. For I do not mean that others should be eased and you burdened. I know that some of you were thinking that. But that as a matter of fairness, your abundance at the present time should apply to their need, so that their abundance, that's what family does, may supply your need, that there may be fairness. As it is written, whoever gathered much had nothing left over, and whoever gathered little had no lack. Boom! Your abundance, your need, your fairness. What's fair? Well, it's fair. Everything's fair until you're the one that ends up on the street because your wife died of cancer and you don't afford the bills. And then all of a sudden, all of that, but no, you knew that happened. But it was only drug. No, it's not only drug people. Equality. 3 times, very strong root word, and they're right there in the New Testament, justice and fairness. To my chagrin, to my regret, I do not know for sure the master supply your slaves with what is right and fair. So we know, based on doing unto others as we would have them do unto us, we know how do you treat a slave? Like you would want to be treated. I was, everybody is their own amount of seed-bearing Christian. Some are 30, some are 60, some are 90, some are 100. Not many are wise, but the ones that aren't like to pretend. We were reading the Bible. We're going to pick it up in verse 15. As it is written, no, we're going to pick it up in verse 16. But thanks be to God who put into the heart of Titus the same earnest care I have for you. I can't wait. I'm talking about when I get to their generous gift. And when they talk about that, Paul gets so excited when he goes like, we're sending with our brother with whom is often tested and founded earnest. Nice. And there's more to come. For he, Titus, came in earnest, for he not only accepted our appeal, but being himself very earnest, he is going to you of his own accord. Now listen to this. With him, we are sending the brother who is famous. Paul sounds like a little giddy fanboy, doesn't he? Because he knows he's a boring preacher. He's not the guy. He's the guy that Eutychus. Do you remember Eutychus? He died. Paul would not zip it. It was late into the night. Luke explains it that way. And Paul yet went on more. Eutychus fell into a deep sleep on the third story of one of those starfort lofts where Paul was preaching, and so everybody could hear him. And he fell off. He was sitting on the rail, knucklehead. But Paul brought him back to life, and everybody glorified God. And Paul said, "Oh boy, yeah." They stayed up all night that night, and he's the one going. But now we got a famous preacher. Oh boy, they love it when this famous preacher, and he's going along with all the churches, showing how to gather money. So I think Satan learned from this also, but it only matters now. But for them, the end was upon them. Those people got fed. Satan uses it now, saying, this is how they gathered the money. They twisted the doctrine of the Trinity, but appealed to them. We got to do this together. So they got the famous brother who's famous among all the churches for his preaching of the gospel. Listen, like it's like a fanboy again. And not only that, but he has been appointed by the churches to travel with us. Come on, he had to be a great preacher for that type of Paul going, yeah, he's old by this time, getting old. And now he knows this is awesome. He's coming. It's as we carry out this act of grace that is being ministered by us for the glory of the Lord himself and to show our goodwill. We take this course so that no one should blame us about this generous gift that is being administered by us, for we aim at what is honorable, not only in the Lord's sight, but also in the sight of man. And with him we are sending our brother, whom we have often tested and found earnest in many matters, but who is now more earnest than ever because of his great confidence in you. Pile on the pressure. I did not mean to. Oh, I saved the blue thing, even though it went to another page and back. I didn't know it did that. As for Titus, he is my partner. He's a fellow worker for your benefit. And as for you brothers, you're messengers of the church. So give proof, therefore, of you love. We're boasting. He's coming, the brother who's famous among all the churches. He's with us. Where's my helper preacher? That would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Who are we worshiping? Verse 1 of this, it can't be any clearer. He's the one who tells us, who he is, who we should thank. Thank God. Because at that time, he was teaching us all over the world, the gospel is bearing fruit and growing. And they were worshiping the one God, the true God. And it was Gentiles worshiping him. Worshiping who? Well, Paul told him, this is the person who told me it's okay to go to the Gentiles. This is who talked to Paul, verse 15. The Son is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether the thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created through him and for him. He is before all things. In him, all things consist. I do like the King James on that one. All things hold together. That's not as, all things consist is better. And he is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from among the dead. That's our, we are seeds. He has shown us we are all seeds. This is not our home. We're going to be changed, but still have our memories. For God was pleased to have all his fullness. The Father is in the Son, and the Son is the Father. And through him to reconcile to himself by adopting us, loving us, all things, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through the blood of the cross, and by his stripes we are healed. If you are healed, this is a flat earth nation. The golden age is past. The mud flood was Armageddon. It had the 1,000-year reign. Satan's loosed. We're getting close to the end now. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. We know we're called. We know we're chosen. We're being faithful. We have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arriba, dirty. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Nakame. Adios, amigo. That's how the artist Salt Paco just loves to say goodbye.